Hey, what's good everybody? It's your boy Instinct. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be walking you through how I make beats for Jackboys, specifically guys like Travis Scott and Don Toliver, with those super trippy but still bouncy beats that are on a lot of their tracks. I actually already made this beat. It's called No Idea and it's live on my other channel. Dropped it a couple weeks ago and it's been doing really well, so I figured I'd do a breakdown for it. Yeah, let's get into it. So the first sound I use is actually a one-shot from Bass 1 and Pilgrim's Mirage kit. It's called Reactor. Sounds like this by itself. Pretty cool sounds, just like a sine wave bell that kind of bounces back and forth from ear to ear. Just did a super simple pattern on that. It kind of outlines the D minor chord, D, F, A, with a couple extra notes like this A sharp, which is the 6th, and this E, which is the 2nd. That just adds some tension between the A sharp and the A, and then the F and the E. Same thing up here, A sharp and A, and then same thing up here with that E and that F. That's something that shows up in a lot of these like dark ambient trap beats, is like half notes, which gives a lot of tension and release. So without any effects, it sounds like this. Okay, and then for effects, I just cut out the lows, and then I went into Effect Rack and I found a preset I liked. This one's in the modulation bank. It's called Sparkle Filter Trim. So it sounds like this. After that bell, I thought I could use a pad, so I came into this Subsonic Arts Gaia Omnisphere bank. Found a pad, it's called Never Ending Sunset, and this just follows the bass notes for the chord, just a D every 4 bars, and then in the second half it plays an A, which is the 5th of the chord. For effects, I just cut out the lows again, and then found another effect rack preset I like. It's called Emerald Phase, also in the modulation bank. Sounds like this with those applied. So just add some texture, and then with the bell it sounds like this. Pretty cool. But from there I decided that I wanted to layer the main bell with another bell, because I thought it was a little dry and simple by itself. So I went into this Bass 1 Rogue one-shot kit, and I picked this Freedom bell, which is pretty cool. It sounds like a sonar or something like that. And I just copied over the pattern from the first bell onto this second bell. And then for the effects, I just added this half note delay, this reverb, pretty wet, cut out the lows, and then I widened it out with a stereo shaper. So now it sounds like this. Kind of sounds like water dripping in a cave or some shit. I like that effect a lot. Cool. And then from there, I wanted to add a vocal loop. So I went into Splice, found one I liked. I don't remember the name of it, but it sounds like this with no effects. Super cool. I like that a lot. I've actually used it in another beat. Don't tell anybody. Then with effects, I just cut out some of the mids, boosted some highs, and then put a pretty wet reverb on it.
Wet again?
So it sounds like this now. All together. Super fire so far. Then at this point I decided that the bells were getting kind of repetitive, so I wanted to switch those out for another sound. So I found this guitar preset in Omnisphere, and I just copied over the same pattern from the bells, and then I just added a stereo shaper to spread it out, reverb again, and then cut out the lows again. So with the Vox and the pad, it sounds like this. Just adds a nice variation, gives me something that I can swap the bells out for later in the beat if I so choose. Now from there I had a pretty good bass going, so I wanted to add a couple counter melodies. This first one's a bell preset in Omnisphere from Hayes' Dark Waves bank. Shout out Hayes, super fire banks. And then for the pattern, I pretty much just stuck to the root note of the chord and the 5th, along with that 6th for some tensions. And then for effects, I didn't do much, just cut out the lows. This next counter melody is also from a Hayes bank. It's from Night Circus, and it's the bell pad 4. Kept this pattern super simple as well, with basically just the D and the A as the main notes, with that A sharp in there for some tension like I was talking about before. And then I just added a stereo shaper to shrink it, and a phaser on the default preset dropped the mix a little bit. So now it sounds like this. And I actually didn't end up using that sound very much, but that's how it goes sometimes, I guess. And then the last bell sound I used was this pluck, also from the Dark Waves kit. This was from the bonus kit, but it sounds like this with no effects. Just kind of a weird sound that kind of accents the main bells pretty well. And the only effect I threw on there was a half note delay with the cut down a little bit. And then finally I found this last Vox Loop on Splice I liked. Cut out the lows, default Fruity Flanges preset, pretty dry reverb, then a half note delay with the cut down, volume way down, and a little alter boy. All I'm using in this is the drive, just to give it some crunch. Kind of a weird effect, but I like how it complements the bells. So yeah, that's basically it for the melodic elements. Now let's get into the drums. Alright, so we're in the actual project file for the beat. It's not as complicated as it looks, just a lot of variation. But for the drums, first thing I started with was this 808, which is actually the Drake 808 from my Perspective drum kit. Shameless plug, go get that. It's totally free, link is in the description. But it sounds like this. Super simple pattern, just follows the bass note of the chord with some variation towards the end. On top of that, I threw a kick, which is the space kick from that same kit. Mostly follows the 808 with some extra notes. Then from there, I threw on this clap, which I actually don't remember what kit it's from. Then a hi-hat, which is from Link's Initiation drum kit. Then from there I just threw on some bounce snares from Nick Mirror's Mirror Touch drum kit, along with a hi-hat roll from that same kit. Then after that I added this open hi-hat, which with no effects would sound like this. But I wanted it to be kind of a melodic element almost, so I threw on a lot of reverb along with the cross stick room preset in Vintage Verb, which I've talked about before, and then I bounced back and forth between a couple notes, so it sounds like this. And then from there I just added this perk loop with the same cross stick room preset on it. And this ambience loop from Wolf Stealth's Survival Kit. And then from there, in this second section, which is the section where the guitar comes in, I added this super simple two-step low hi-hat, which actually has a few effects on it. It has this looperator, reversing some of the hi-hats, and then it has a pan man bouncing it back and forth a little bit. And then I also added a new perk loop, which also has the cross stick room preset. And that's actually basically it for the drums. The real magic in this beat comes from the arrangement. Lots of things being taken in and out, lots of variation like I said before. This bell doesn't even come in for like half the beat. There's this choir I forgot to mention earlier, which just comes in once for an 8-bar loop for this kind of build-up thing right here. Another thing I did was switched up the pitch of those vocal loops a lot. So like for that main one, I have the regular main octave, and then I have a high octave, and a low one, which I switch between a lot throughout the beat. And then for that second vocal, I just have the main one and a low one. And those just switch back and forth a lot throughout the beat. But yeah, that's basically the beat. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe. The clip of this beat will play right now, and then I will leave a link in the description for the full beat if you want to go check that out. Yeah, thanks for watching guys. See you next time.